Coming up, what an excellent day for packing. You know, like, I realized they call it luggage because it's a thing you lug around.
That can't be right.
Prove me wrong, Keenan Diaz.
Oh, why is it called luggage?
Or maybe that's where lug came from. It's like, oh, you're gonna lug this around like luggage?
The word luggage originally meant inconveniently heavy baggage and comes from the verb lug. You are correct, Lester.
Listeners, you cannot see, but I'm trying very hard not to have a shit-eating grin. And failing.
You right.
And that was just a guess, folks.
When you right.
Well, howdy, folks, and welcome to Minute 124 of The Exorcist Minute, a show where we endeavor to examine, extrapolate, and excavate The Exorcist, minute by terrifying minute. My name is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I'm Keenan Diaz.
And we'll be your holy guides on this journey through what some have called the scariest movie of all time. Okay, so our minute begins with an ambulance arriving too late.
And it ends with Chris receiving a gift from a late friend.
Yes, folks, and from someone I didn't remember leaving us, but we'll talk about that. For now, let's get back to the top of this minute. You'll remember Father Dyer had just finished giving the last rites to his best friend and our good friend, Dimmy. In the distance, we could just begin to hear the wailing of a siren. We then cut to, would you call this an aerial shot or an overhead shot?
I think just overhead because it's not literally up in the air. We could see the edge of our little cliff where our camera is stationed. Yes,
it's almost like a roof shot or something.
Yeah, like exactly. But boy, is it steep down there. I'm glad that someone built those stairs there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Somebody could get hurt. Yeah. I was thinking maybe it's one of the kids. You know how they said that all the kids in Georgetown were like taking over the roofs and charging $5.
Right, exactly.
Just freaking tosses one of them a camera. It's like, here, kid, make yourself useful. Yeah. And from this shot, we see the whole scene. Dyer and Dimmy are in a circle of light at the bottom of those stairs, and in the outer darkness, a crowd of people is swarming, almost like flies, around this body, held back only by one or two cops. Or pigs. Beyond that, a cop car idles, and an ambulance has just skidded to a halt.
Just to clarify why we keep calling them pigs is because of the Legion story.
Yes.
And we think that a lot of this is in reference to the Legion story from the Bible.
Yes. We're just being like cute with the metaphors over here, right?
No, but I think that's right. I think that is what's going on in our movie. Yeah.
We got flies, we got pigs, right? There's a graffiti on the like near the steps that says HT pigs.
Right. Could be enough pigs is what I think it might be. Wait, HT.
Enough
There's no T in enough. Damn it. Never mind.
There's never enough T's in enough.
Could be slight pigs.
Yeah.
Bright pigs.
Mm-hmm. Could be Dwight Pigs.
Oh yeah.
just a guy. He's just a guy named, but his last name is Pigs.
Yeah.
Right. I'm Dwight Pigs. Right? Yeah. But yeah,
I'm Dwight Pigs, and I'm here to wipe the windows.
Everybody just wants to wipe Chris MacNeil's windows. That's not a euphemism. That's
So, anyways, something terrible.
Or is it?
Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, from here, it's a hard cut. Time has passed, it's daytime, and we are up atop those steps again looking down. We can see clear all the way to the bottom and the spot where Dimmy lay dying. Now, in the morning, it looks like any other street, any other set of steps. You'd never know anything happened at all.
Yeah, and it's interesting in the screenplay, Blatty is calling for a slow fade out from the previous scene,
Oh.
slowly fade out, and then a fade in here. Um,
Oh.
he's also saying to look at the house and not the stairs. So in the
Hmm.
movie, right, Friedkin and the editors and Owen Roisman have decided that we are going to cut from a shot at night where Damien is dead to this other shot. We're going to cut rather than fade. So
Oh.
no time elapses any of that stuff. It's not cutesy. It's just get right to it. Right.
Right.
Somebody dies, and then the next day, no one even cares.
I like that. That's God. I bit my tongue before
Hmm.
saying that's so meta, but that is so meta because it's like
Hmm.
it's no, you're absolutely right. We're not going to show the passage of time with a slow dissolve. We're just going to
Hmm.
hard cut, just like the world actually does, Keenan.
Right. Uh-huh.
Ugh.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Oh my God. But yeah, off topic, or maybe not. I don't know.
Hmm.
But do you sometimes look at a place, a public place, and wonder what significant events transpired there? Like,
Hmm.
but now it's just another street corner or storefront or bridge or whatever, and the events could be horrible or they could be joyful. But sometimes, like 24 hours is all it takes to make that place just a place again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. I wonder what that term is.
Hmm.
So like you're just looking at a normal place and imagining what could have happened there. I do
Right.
that more with like places that I know something has happened, and you sort of go
Mm.
there. Like in LA, I used to live in Koreatown,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
and Koreatown used to be a really happening place. Like in the 20s, 30s, 40s, that's where Hollywood people hung out.
Uh huh.
And like the apartment buildings that you would live in Koreatown, they used to be like old hotels where movie stars lived.
Mm.
And like there's the Robert Kennedy School, which is
Mm.
named after Robert Kennedy, partially because that's where the Ambassador Hotel was, where he was shot, where he was killed.
Right. Okay.
So then
Mm.
you walk away. So then, yeah, you're like, oh, the Robert Kennedy School. Why is that? You look up, oh, that's where the Ambassador Hotel was. That's where the Coconut Grove was. That's where the Oscars were. And then, oh gosh,
Yeah.
and that's also where RFK was assassinated. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Huh.
just like decades of rebuilding and changing, and yeah, so you might not know that that's somewhere in that school is the exact spot where he died.
Oh God. Oof. Yeah. I remember when I first got here. I went on a date, and it was actually she picked this out. She found this. It was really really cool. It was like a scavenger hunt that you
Mm-hmm.
do on your phone. You input your city, and they give you a whole bunch of options. And we did our first scavenger hunt in Chinatown, I think, and we were
Mm.
looking at all these like interesting landmarks and all these historical spots. And then we decided to go on another date, and I think it was me. I chose because of course it's me. I chose the haunted LA, downtown LA
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
scavenger hunt. And so we went to all of these places,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, this is where the person died. And this is, and we went to the Cecil Hotel. Do you know about that
Uh-huh.
place? Yeah.
Oh, I know it's haunted. I don't remember
Yeah.
what happened there.
Yeah. So we went there, we went to a couple of other places.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you kind of like, you look at it, and I don't know. I mean, I like, if I had not known, would I have looked at the Cecil Hotel and been like, oh, I can almost feel it, right?
Yeah, now I'm looking at the the Cecil Hotel has its own Wikipedia page, which isn't surprising, but there's also an
Uh-huh.
associated Wikipedia page that's just list of deaths and violence at the Cecil
Oh
Hotel.
God. It's a regular overlook over there.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so like for this story, Keenan, I'm thinking of like, in the world of this story,
Hmm.
we got these steps, at the bottom of which two people died.
Right.
And also this house, which is just filled with bad memories. And
Hmm.
understandably, like, Chris wants to get the hell out of Georgetown, but someone is going to rent that house. And people still walk up and down those steps every day.
Yeah.
I've walked up and down those steps. And yeah, I know, like, Dimmy and Burke aren't real, but you imagine at least one real person has also died on those steps. And like they might not even be a fan of The Exorcist. They might be a Hitchcock fan.
Yeah, they're called the Hitchcock Steps, right? And then I don't know. I don't understand why. I don't know what
it was never in any of his movies.
No. Was it?
Well, now it's my turn to put my hands on my hips and be like, well, then why is it called the Hitchcock Steps?
I'm on the Wikipedia. Before the Exorcist Association, the stairs were informally called Hitchcock Steps for famed suspense and horror film director Alfred Hitchcock. But yeah, I don't know why.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Just every night at 3 a.m. you can see his silhouette.
Yeah, so I'm
and
not
he
sure.
always wore a tie.
I mean, Hitchcock had obviously suspense scenes where people are walking upstairs.
Yeah.
Like in Psycho, Notorious is probably the actual one, but they don't look like this, and those are both inside houses. So I don't know why they're called it.
Do they just look Hitchcockian? Are they like really are his steps really steep?
Are Hitchcock steps really steep?
I don't like in his movies. Does he do some kind of like weird camera angle to make them look like
I don't believe
like the
so.
Exorcist steps?
I don't think so. Okay, so now I'm on a USA Today article when so when Blatty was
Listeners
at
love this,
Georgetown, when Blatty was at Georgetown, he remembers them being called the Hitchcock Steps, named for Hitchcock. They always evoke something spooky and suspenseful. So it's just sort of like this. I guess the feeling as you're walking up them would remind you of being in a suspense movie. But yeah, it's not a particular movie or not.
So if it was like any other era, it'd be like, oh, those are the Stephen King steps.
I guess
so or like way
the Shining Steps.
Those are the Shining Steps, or those are the Edgar Allan Poe steps.
I guess so.
Is that what it is? So Hitchcock's just like the current spookmaster?
Yeah, I guess when Blatty was in school there in the 60s and 50s, it was just like he was the scariest person we can think of. Yeah, but he wasn't known for horror in the 50s, and because he only made a few horror movies, and they didn't make his first horror movie till Psycho in 1960. So it's all thrillers and spy movies before that. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's the stairs in the Birds, but it's inside. So I don't know what this is about.
Weird. Yeah, folks. It like any Hitchcock fans who are rage listening to us talk about the movie that stole his steps.
Okay. So I didn't want to talk about this because there is a movie called The 39 Steps that Hitchcock directed.
Oh.
But it's not about steps, so I don't want to get into it because it's a spoiler. They're trying to solve the mystery of what the 39 steps is.
Okay.
Like they hear this phrase, the 39 steps, and the guy is trying to go throughout Scotland and try to find the 39 steps, and he can't.
Is this like the Scottish version of The Mousetrap?
It's a movie from 1935, but I don't want to ruin it for you. But
okay.
So that's the only thing I can think of. But there are.
It's already kind of ruined because I know there are no steps.
But that's like Lisa Simpson when she goes to Planet Hollywood and they have on display the cane from Citizen Kane. And she says, wait a minute, there's no cane in Citizen Kane. Right, there's no steps in the 39 steps.
Wait, Keenan, back up. There's not a single cane?
Well, there is.
Okay. I'm just saying.
When the guy comes out and he sings the song to Charlie Kane,
yes,
right? He dances with the cane.
Yeah, yes. Okay, all right.
But Charles Foster Kane never holds a cane.
Right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And the 39 steps. Yes, there are steps in the 39 steps. Yeah. Obviously, they walk upstairs
steps in a
and
lot
they walk
of movies.
Probably most movies. Right.
We call these the Hitchcock Birds. Because of that movie, The Birds.
Exactly. No, because of that movie Psycho with all those birds in it.
Yeah, right? Ah,
But anyways, of the extra steps, and then at the C also of this Wikipedia article for the Exorcist Steps.
mm.
Other staircases famous for their use in films: the Potemkin Stairs, the Rocky Stairs, the Joker Stairs,
Oh, yeah.
and the Music Box Steps. You know, the Laurel and Hardy, where they're trying to move the piano up
Oh, the
up the stairs.
piano. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Oh,
That,
okay.
that movie's called The Music Box. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Huh. Yeah, a lot of famous steps, folks.
I guess so. And none of those are in Hitchcock movies. Just
No.
pointing that out.
Nope. Or in this movie. except the Exorcist stairs.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm looking at this shot that we got in our minute right here, Keenan.
Mhm.
Looking down these steps in the daytime, right? Like they just look like normal steps, but like I kept on thinking about that. I kept on thinking about places that I don't know, places that have memories. You know what I mean? Specifically bad memories. And because I'm Lester Ryan Clark, I could not leave well enough alone. I had to find the word or the phrase for the vibe that you get from places where traumatic stuff happened.
Yeah.
So, turns out the phrase is genius loci.
Okay.
And that's genius like genius, and loci is L-O-C-I. And once again, this comes from Roman mythology. Remember, we talked about how the word genius used to refer to the guardian spirit, which was assigned to you at birth and which would inspire you to do great things, which people would then attribute to your genius, right? It was kind of like a guardian angel and a muse rolled into one. And remember, we also found some interesting correlations between the word genius and the word daimon or daemon, which, of course, is where we get demon. In any case, it turns out locations also had a genius, a genius loci.
Okay.
However, this phrase has since evolved to refer to the atmosphere or the vibe or the pervading spirit, quote unquote, of a place. So a place might feel haunting or haunted. And then I thought, oh, is this the evolution of the concept of ghosts? Because Keenan, ghosts and spirits aren't always the same from culture to culture, right? Like you could have a spirit of a tree or a river spirit or a personal spirit, like a genius. But that's not a ghost. We associate the word ghost with death, both people and things. The ghost of a memory is a memory that's almost gone. A ghost town used to have people in it, but now it's deserted. Even Poe, when he's like describing the embers of the dying fire in The Raven, he says, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. A tree spirit isn't dead. A river spirit lives longer than we do. It doesn't haunt the river, it is the river, or it keeps the river alive, right? Spirit equals life, ghost equals death. And I'm not saying we always do this. Of course, like we use them interchangeably. Like even Dickens, in my favorite story of all time, right? He mixes and matches them with, the ghost of Christmas Past, et cetera, right? But Scrooge always addresses those three, past, present, future, as spirit. Spirit, take me to another place. Spirit, show me no more of this, right? And he addresses Jacob Marley as Jacob, because that is his dead friend. And in that way, he almost doesn't want to acknowledge that Jacob has changed in some way. But, Keenan, if you lined those four characters up in any version of A Christmas Carol, so you got Christmas Past, Christmas Present, and Christmas Future, and then Marley. And I said to you, I said, okay, 3 of those are spirits, and 1 of them is a ghost. How many times would you immediately point to Marley and say, that's the ghost?
Yeah, he's haunting stuff.
Yeah, right? So that's what I'm saying, like the difference between spirits and ghosts,
Yeah,
right?
and
Like,
he's
we
also
can
not
easily
metaphorical. He was a person.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's like to my point, right? The ghost of the quote unquote ghost of Christmas Past wasn't a guy, right? Like the ghost of Christmas present wasn't a person, and then he died and he became the ghost of Christmas. He's a spirit, right?
Right. It sounds a little bit like so a ghost, or like we associate them haunting a place. Is that kind of what you're saying, more than a spirit who can sort of be wherever they want to go?
Well, what I'm trying to say is I think the human psyche developed the idea of a ghost
Mm-hmm.
from this vibe that we get
Mm-hmm.
from places
From
that
places,
had
yeah.
like bad stuff happen to
Mm-hmm.
in them. Okay, bringing it back to this shot, this
Mm-hmm.
staircase, right? Something has happened here, right? An event has happened here, but all physical evidence of that event is gone.
Right.
And yet it still gives off, you might say, a haunting vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And how easy in our impressionable minds to go from haunting to haunted,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's some theories about like collective memory, generational memory, generational trauma, and the pseudoscientific psychic imprint, which suggest we are somehow able to access memories or at least emotions connected to specific places. Others say that it's probably just that we're picking up on certain environmental cues, certain smells or sounds or textures that we're not even like aware that we're taking in, and that's what's cluing us into whether this is a bad place or a good place.
I wonder about that. Like if you're in a square and the locals know that that's a place of some import, or there's some trauma
Mhm.
there, right? Maybe they act differently just without knowing it, and then you're picking up on that.
Yeah, so it could be like again, it goes back to I love the way Chris put it when she was kind of belittling Dimmy's explanation, but it's like some gizmo in our brain, right,
Mm-hmm.
can pick up, can sense, it's like somewhere beyond or in between the five senses that we know of, right? Like we're just the air is a little bit weirder here, right? Like like you're saying, like the vibe of the people is a little bit like they know that this used to be like the center for, I don't know, human sacrifice or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, maybe like as soon as they cross into the square, they walk a little bit quicker to get out of it or something like that. Like little tiny things that we don't even like pick up on, but uh, like our subconscious picks up on, and we attribute that to is like, oh, like I felt a ghost or something like that, but actually it's our brain picking up on these tiny things that we don't even notice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, in any case, thanks for falling into the ghost trap with me, folks. As we look at this shot of the stairs, from here we cut to the front of the house, or I guess the side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the driveway by the front door. The Viper is loading up the car. No, Carl.
Oh, it's just Carl.
Carl is loading up the car with luggage.
Mm-hmm.
He's lugging that luggage into the trunk. Yeah. Only two small suitcases.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know if he just started or he's just finishing up. But that trunk looks pretty empty.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, what are you gonna do with all that space? All that space inside your trunk?
His trunk? His trunk?
His lovely Viper trunk.
That is such a stupid song, but it's so clever and so catchy.
I love
But
in the
then
same sentence. Like that is such a stupid song, but it's so clever.
You know what I mean, though. What a dumb song. But that verse is very clever. But then the
It is.
second verse,
Uh-huh.
the second verse.
Um.
What you gonna do with all that ass up in them jeans?
Oh yeah, that doesn't rhyme.
It doesn't rhyme or anything you would want from a song.
What you gonna do with all
that ass?
inside that
Them jeans.
them khakis?
Khakis.
No, that doesn't work. Inside that bass. Why are you in a bass? No, that doesn't work. No.
Oh, you do with all them buns, all them love buns in my jeans.
There's no name for that part of the human anatomy that rhymes with jeans.
Just humps and trunks, and then some rhyming purist wouldn't say that humps rhymes with trunk,
Right.
but we get it. It's clever
Yeah,
enough. What
Anyway.
you gonna do with all that booty?
Uh-huh.
All that booty in your sootie? Can I have $1 million?
Stop the podcast,
please?
everybody. Nobody steal this.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk? Yes, that rhymes. I'm gonna get you drunk. Get you love drunk off my hump. That's close enough.
It works. Yeah. Okay, no more brainstorming, Keenan, when we're on the air. Like we gotta keep this stuff for ourselves. We gotta get rich off of your you're spitting
I've already
fire.
forgotten it. I've already forgotten the fire I spat. I'm sorry.
All right, well, but yeah, we were asking Carl what he's gonna do with all that space up in his trunk, inside his trunk. But yeah, he looks like he's in a hurry. Like, did you get that feeling?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, he's got to get them going for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we then cut and we are inside the house. I believe we are in the living room, looking through the doorway into the hall.
Right.
And it's an interesting shot. It's sort of a mixture of both versions of the house that we have seen. It's bright and sunny, like soft beige and pink. The house seems more alive than it has in a long time, even when it was fully furnished. And yet, we also have these familiar images, these reminders, these ghosts of the time Carl was packing everything up, right? Turning their house into a hospital or an asylum.
Right.
Sheets cover almost every surface, and boxes and other knickknacks are piled around them. But in contrast to the previous scenes, the house looks busy. Even as we cut, Carl has come back into the house and is already heading toward the kitchen. He passes Chris, who is all dressed up, ready to travel. It looks like she's on her way out to the car, but Sharon appears in the frame of the doorway we're looking through. We can't see the stairs, but it looks like she just came from upstairs.
Yep.
She says, "Where do you want this?" And Chris stops. She asks, "What is it?" And Sharon says, "Phonograph." Chris replies, "Storage," before hurrying off again. I like the quick one-word exchanges here, right? Like they're in a hurry, but there's also something else going on.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's just this economy of all that. Like, they don't have to explain that they're moving, etc. There's a lot of lines cut out from the script about, we're on the way to the airport and we better get going because
really?
Dulles is pretty far away. Yeah, all that stuff. And so we could do that visually. Everything is being boarded up. Not boarded up, but like with sheets on it, everything's being put, and they're not taking the stuff with them. It's going to stay there clearly. Like we get all that visually. And there's like one big picture that I don't remember seeing before.
Yeah.
That's mostly white. It's an abstract piece, and it's like a deconstructed piece with it that's mostly white, and then there's like an image of like a landscape that's cut into 4 geometric pieces, etc. Yeah. I don't remember that piece before.
No, I don't remember seeing it either.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's interesting. That's the one that we see when we're introducing the idea that the whole house has turned beige again.
Oh yeah,
the whole house is white and beige, and it doesn't have any kind of feeling associated with it, scary or warm and homely or anything.
Right,
it's sort of neutral.
Yeah, which is weird because it has the elements of the scary stuff. Like literally, it looks like there are ghosts in there because you put stuff, like you put sheets over stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like it's the most warm and comforting the house has been. Like even like when the house has had stuff in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess our cameras where the piano would have been. Oh, actually, I thought this was a table in the foreground, but now I see that's a piano in the foreground.
Oh, okay. It's Father Dyer's piano. Well, it's not Father Dyer's piano.
but he was the last one to ever play it.
Yeah,
Father
right.
Dyer.
Came in like he owned the place. He played that piano all night. Sheesh.
Yeah, and I don't know if we said it on the show, but my boyfriend is a piano technician. A piano, he tunes and he maintains pianos, and so, oh boy, he wouldn't be happy at this. There's a cup of coffee, a mug with the saucer on the piano.
Oh.
Pianos are not pieces of furniture. They are very expensive instruments.
Oh.
They are not tables.
I can see Mark now saying that exact thing. I love it. Oh.
Right.
I'm excited.
They are not $80,000 tables for you to put cups on.
You're gonna get it up to the 3rd floor. How? This fat guy and the skinny guy? What?
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, back to this this exchange of dialogue, this really quick, like kind of like one-word sentences, right? Yep. I get the feeling that they are in a hurry, but something else is also going on. There's some undertone, right? So after Chris leaves, Sharon finds a nearby box and she packs the phonograph in there. And we cut, and now we're in the hall looking at Sharon still in the doorway. We're sort of like peeking around the corner of the doorway leading to the front steps where Chris went. A third of the screen is taken up by this other door. And even though Sharon is closer to us, she looks very small. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the way she's standing. Do you get that feeling? Like,
yeah, we're giving her a lot of headroom, and then we're on sort of a wider lens that makes the things closer to us in the frame much bigger than her.
Yeah. So yeah, after putting the phonograph away, she looks at the house and sighs and begins putting on this gray jacket that she's been holding this whole time. She's also in the process of dressing up to leave. She looks down the way that Chris had gone, and she says, "That's everything." And the way she says it, it feels like that's not everything. That's not what she wants to say, right. or not all that she wants to say. We cut again, and now we're behind her. We're very close, and the camera is moving even closer. And I noticed this, the movement of the camera here. It feels like this type of camera movement where it's like we're behind Sharon and she's walking forward and we're kind of like closing in on her, and it's like it's almost imperceptible, like how quietly we're following her. In any other moment it would be like creepy. It's like, oh no, Captain Howdy's behind her or something like that. But somehow, and I'm asking you to explain this for me, Keenan, for this scene, as she's walking forward and we're following her, it feels sweet. It feels nice. But why? Like, what's going on here?
I mean, everything depends on context. So we sort of know things are over. The devil is gone forever. Yay!
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no one has to worry about the devil anymore.
Anymore.
No, but yeah, we know it's the end. We know the devil's gone. We have all of this white beiginess to the house. Even her her base layer is this white turtlenecky sweater thing, this beigey thing. And and the house is filled with daylight. It has a daylight color to it as opposed to nighttime color. And yeah, it is sweet and it's nice, and it's not it's neither too fast as we might expect from a horror-y sort of thriller idea, or is it too slow, right? It's just right.
Yeah, we're just like easing through. It's like floating along behind her, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like a good ghost.
There's no good ghosts.
like a genius loci.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. So
this house is gonna miss you the most, Sharon.
Oh God. Okay, so we're following Sharon. The camera's slowly floating behind her, and Chris appears from the entryway and says, I'm going to miss you, as she's tugging on a long white glove. Same here, Sharon answers. Sure you won't change your mind, Chris says. And we can see now that the business of the glove is maybe just that, to keep her busy amidst the emotion that we can now see welling up on her face.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to an over-the-shoulder over Chris's shoulder, and we see that Sharon's mind is made up. Almost no hesitation, she shakes her head. But we can see that she's also sad.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little bit different from the book. In both the first and the 40th edition, Chris and Reagan are catching an afternoon flight to L.A., leaving Sharon, Carl, and Willie to close everything up. And then, Carl is going to drive the car cross country back home. But it's implied that both Willie and Sharon are catching a later flight. But what do you think of this decision here to have her leave the MacNeils? I'm pretty sure the horseman is in Washington also.
So she's going to stay for the horseman?
I think that's it, right? Like, that's what it's got to be.
He's running for Congress, I understand.
Oh, yeah, right? No more glue.
That's his platform?
Yeah. Yes to, he's pro-oats and anti-glue.
Hold on just for 1 second. Hold on. When was this done here? Yes, I had to look it up. But yes, DC gets one congressperson. And they created that in 1971. So yes, he might be running to be the first congressperson from DC.
Or galloping.
Yeah. So the first man who actually did that took office in March 23rd, 1971. Yeah, he's probably running against Walter Fauntleroy.
There you go. And call him Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Yeah, Horseman is pro carrots. And he's anti hurdles. For too long, we've been having to jump over hurdles just to get to work.
Yeah.
Just to get our carrots. But
he says his campaign slogan is "Read my lips."
That's very good. But no, I imagine I like the idea that things are broken in the MacNeil household just a little bit. Okay, so Willie and Carl can do that, and they have the tendency of staying, as you've been talking about, right? I like the idea, this bittersweetness, that there are some things lost and some things gained, and one thing that's lost is Sharon. I think that makes sense, and it helps take out some of the saccharine that we're already going to have, because we're dealing with like a child and a mother reuniting and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. I guess this could be it's almost like a soft death. You know what I mean?
Right.
Since we didn't have, they always talk about kill counts in horror movies, right? And it's like we kind of only have like what? 3? Yeah. 4.
Who's the fourth?
Mama Karis.
Oh, yes. But she dies peacefully.
Why?
She dies peacefully in a sanitarium.
Right. No, she dies at home.
Surrounded by screams. Oh,
she dies at home.
Sure she does.
Because someone left her alone to die. And they didn't even know because the radio was on. Oh, no, that's how they did know. Yeah.
Right. Well, and so 4, I suppose, yeah. Only 2 murders. 2 natural deaths and 2 demon murders.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's probably why my students think it's boring. Not enough murders.
Yeah.
This is a soft murder. Sharon and Chris's relationship.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so Sharon shakes her head, and Chris sort of looks sadly down and hurries away. And we're left looking at Sharon, and as they had been talking, like she had put her hands in her coat pockets, sort of like instinctive,
Right.
and now she notices something in one of them. She takes it out and looks at it, and we can't see what it is yet because it's small and cupped in her hand. But she begins to walk over, and as she's walking, we can sort of see this look on her face like she's preparing herself. She has
Mhm.
just made a decision, and now she is preparing herself for what may happen next.
Mhm.
She looks up, sees Chris, and then looks back down as she continues walking. The camera turns to follow her, and now we are behind her in a semi over the shoulder, and we see that Chris is still there. She only moved out of frame. She's actually at that little stand by the door. Not sure what you would call that. I guess like where you put your keys or your wallet.
Mhm.
I think that's where the guest book for the party was.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
that would make sense, right?
Yeah. But Chris is there now, and she's putting on some jewelry, a bracelet over that white glove. It made me think like there was a time when people got dressed up to get on a plane.
That's right.
I cannot imagine anything more uncomfortable than getting on a crowded plane
Mhm.
in a suit and tie. That would be a nightmare.
Right.
I mean, I guess Chris is going first class, but I'd still rather be in my PJs or something comfortable, right?
Mhm.
Like now, whenever I fly, it's a t-shirt and sweatpants,
Yeah.
or clean gym clothes, right? Also
Clean,
because
clean, clean. Yes.
clean. Everybody, did you hear that? Yeah. But also because like that way I don't gotta like undo my belt at
Yep.
TSA, right?
Mhm.
Like, I know the 70s was like a wildly different time
Mhm.
when it came to that. But like, how about you? Like what's your preferred flight wardrobe?
Yeah, it used to be more expensive. It used to be less of a hold up at security.
Hmm.
There you used to have more space. I mean, so you'd have much more leg room, and then like the kind of planes that you and I fly, like you fly Southwest a lot, probably, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, so like a 787, like there's like 6 seats in a row, right? I
Uh-huh.
mean, it used to
Yeah.
be four. I mean, you know, we've been
Yeah.
totally packed in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to be comfortable. The only time when I'm not really comfortable, when I'm sort of overdressed, is when it's the difference between having to make another bag or not. So I'll like wear another layer, like I'll wear a big puffy jacket rather than trying to fit in a
Oh.
suitcase, so that there's only one bag edge. What'd you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
Lug edge.
Luggage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Trying to lug less, so I'll wear more.
There
But
you go. Yeah.
a lot of my uncles and aunties would work for like Hawaiian Airlines or Aloha Airlines, and sometimes we would get a standby seat based on like a friends and family thing.
Huh.
And so
Okay.
my mother was really strict with us that we had to look presentable, like not dress up, but
Uh-huh.
like we were going to, we were basically flying as representatives of the airline, and she didn't want to get like our
Oh.
aunties and uncle, like she didn't want anything to happen where someone would be like ill. You look the way that your nieces and nephews are dressing, right? So she was like,
Huh.
be sure that you look nice.
Huh.
So that makes some sense. But other than that, yeah, I don't care what anybody's wearing on a
Yeah.
plane anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Different time, folks.
Hmm.
Different time. Yeah. But yeah, in any case, Chris looks up. She notices Sharon, thinks maybe Sharon is going to say something, but she's distracted, consciously or unconsciously, by all the busy work
Hmm.
of getting herself ready. But I think she does spot something in Sharon's hand just
Yep.
as Sharon says, I found this in her room. Now she stops fussing with the bracelet and she reaches out and she takes it. She doesn't immediately know what it is, which
Hmm.
I like. It's not something we would even catch unless we were looking for it on Dimmy. He
Hmm.
wears it like under his shirt. But yes, our next cut is a close up of Dimmy's Saint Joseph medallion, identical to the one found in Iraq way back at the beginning of the movie.
Hmm.
Probably the same prop. Who knows?
I think they would have to, right? They'd want to make sure that they look the same.
Exactly the same, right?
Emotionally, it makes sense, this metal thing, but then as we're looking at the film minute by minute, I'm like, hey, how come? Yeah, what's the deal? So Father Marin found one of these in Iraq,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it matches the one that Damien has. Like, what's up with that?
I mean, this is purely the movie, right? Because
Yeah,
this is not in the book. The metal is not in the book at all.
right. Hmm.
Um, So yeah, I am a little bit
He doesn't find
confused.
Damien's medal in
It
Iraq.
can't be.
No, it's not anything like that, right?
Is there a whole nother like level to this where it's like a time loop or something like that?
Right.
No, 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 no,
That's not what we're implying, but it
no.
certainly feels that way, and in a good way, I think, right?
Yes, yeah.
It just gives like this nice closure, this nice reincorporation. Oh, that's thing from the beginning. But yeah, what happens to the original one in Iraq? It just goes to the museum, I guess.
Yeah, it must, right? Or Marin pockets it.
And then what?
I mean, not pockets like the colonialist that we joked he was. I mean, like he checks in with his friend Jesuit Dean first, and he's
right.
like, I think I'd like to take this, right? And
Right. Like,
Jesuit
good, I
Dean's
got a
like,
whole
sure,
bucket full of them over here. Yeah,
yeah,
because apparently that exact metal is very, very common.
yeah.
I found a bucket of these in her room, says Sharon. Took me all day to untangle them.
So she's like, I found this in her room, and she just hands the single medallion, and then she reaches in her pocket, and this, and also this, and this one, and this one, and then they all, they're kind of like stuck together, and it just becomes one of those like handkerchief magic tricks, right?
Yeah, but like Chris is looking at it, and it's clearly she knows it's Damien's, right?
She must, yeah.
Because in the screenplay, Sharon says, "I found this in her room. It belonged to Father Karras." So we don't need that, right? So like, yeah, this we understand because Chris looks at it. It looks religious. If she doesn't know Catholic from Protestant, probably or whatever,
Right? Yeah.
But it's got a picture of a saint holding a baby saint, and she probably she's not so clueless of religion. She doesn't know that that's Jesus. She might not know who the man is, but it says Sanctus Joseph
Ora pro
nobis. Yeah, so she knows it's religious in some way.
Yeah. How do you like that, folks? I remember that from our early episode. I'm not even looking at it right now.
Oh, look at you.
No. And I think that means Saint Joseph, pray for us.
Yeah. So yeah, this is our last key prop of the movie, right? And so I want to, maybe some of you are listening to all of this in a row, like binging this whole show in a weekend, and you're like, why do we have to go over this again? But yeah. But for the rest of us, Lester, what is Saint Joseph the patron saint of?
Saint Joseph is the patron saint of... Hold on. We can't do this again. Okay. Joseph is the patron saint of families.
Okay.
Fathers. All right.
All right.
Expectant mother. Oh, I remember this in our... I was like, he's kind of stealing Mary's thunder here with the expectant mothers thing.
All right, yeah.
So you got fathers, Joseph. Like
he's the fathers and the mothers.
Yeah, right. Travelers, immigrants, house sellers and buyers, craftsmen, engineers, and working people. That's what I got. You got any others?
I see immigrants, attorneys, carpenters, workers in general.
Okay.
So then, yes, everything you're saying, I'm seeing expectant mothers, unborn children, and virgins.
What? Virgins?
Uh-huh.
Well, no, this is... Okay, now this is like purposely... It's like expectant mothers, like, okay, because like he's the husband of Mary, and he's like protecting this expectant mother. But yeah, come on, Joe. Like
when you think of virgins, who do you think of amongst the Holy Family?
Yeah, those three people in the Nativity, right? And I say the word virgin. Of course, you're going to think of Joseph,
Saint Joseph,
the carpenter.
But no, so Joseph was not a virgin because Jesus had brothers. So
that's right. Yeah,
yeah. So,
and there's nothing said like nobody said that after Jesus, like Mary and Joseph didn't have more kids, right? It's like because he does have brothers,
I think his brothers are stepbrothers, though.
Oh. Well then, never mind.
I don't know. Maybe children. Did Mary have hold on. Did Mary have other children? The Bible seems to suggest yes.
Hmm.
And here's the other article.
Okay.
The Bible seems to suggest no. A careful look at the New Testament shows that Mary kept her vow of virginity and never had other children.
You know, I would be angry about that vagueness,
Mm-hmm.
except for the fact that is classic Bible.
I have from Bible.org. Mary had 4 other sons besides Jesus: Joseph, James, Jude, and Simon. I have from LinkedIn.com that Mary never had Joseph's any other children than Jesus. So, yes, you have to weigh your sources here. Who are you going to trust?
LinkedIn.com. And it's just it's just this medallion, and it's Joseph's LinkedIn, and under experience it's travelers, immigrants, house sellers, expectant mothers, and virgins. Jeez.
I don't know how LinkedIn works, and I try not to learn. I'm so lucky to have a job that doesn't require me to be on LinkedIn, but I'm just so afraid whenever I click on someone's LinkedIn that I'm going to be automatically signed. Doesn't it give you that feeling that just that you're going to automatically signed in and followed, and people are going to get notifications you've been trying to hire them or something, and they're going to email you. And
like the very, very brief time I was on LinkedIn, like occasionally, because I need like some bit of information or something like that, I'll go back to it and I'll look at like, oh wow, that was like my first headshot in LA. I look so different. And I'll see like, it's like you have 465 notifications.
And they want jobs from you, obviously.
Yeah. William Friedkin visited your profile 17 times. Huh.
What do you want? Was he trying to give you a job?
I don't know. Like he didn't leave a message.
Oh man, that could have been your deal to do the audiobook of the screenplay.
Yeah, it could have been. Right? William Peter Blatty, but he's. And then I go to his LinkedIn and it just says ghost. Professional ghost writer. Because he would love that joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, Keenan, you're right. Somehow Chris knows that this medal is Dimmy's because of what she does with it later. But I like that she doesn't smile. It's not a fond remembrance when she looks at this thing, right? Or even like a sad smile.
Right.
I like that it troubles her a little bit. It's a memory of Dimmy. It's a ghost of Dimmy, and also a memory of all the horrible stuff that happened in this house, in this town. I also like how it could be that even after being saved by the power of Christ, she still feels the same way about religion that she did before. She may even like lump all of this together now with like the devil stuff, right? Like this is a reminder of when the devil tried to take my daughter. In that way, it's almost opposite of what Dimmy feels. For him, the existence of the devil confirms the existence of God, and that gives him joy eventually. But for Chris, the symbol of God's power reminds her that the devil's also out there.
Right.
And remember, in the beginning of our story, at least in the book, Chris was in despair at the thought of nothing after death. Remember, she had that dream about nothing. She was almost a reluctant atheist. She wanted there to be something. And then this story happens to her. She experiences the power of both good and evil. And now seeing this symbol of God sort of makes her uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that even after all of this, yes, she has grown. Yes, she has changed. But at her core, she is still #our Chris. You hear that, believer?
But I mean, how does she go? So unlike in Believer, where they make a choice with what happens to Chris, that is their right to do because they spent $400 million.
Sure.
But this Chris, #our Chris, right?
Yeah.
She's gonna go, potentially the rest of her life. Every time she sees a church or a nativity scene, or like she lives in the Christian world, and she's going to be reminded of this terrible thing that happened to her daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, the rest of her life. And the idea that that we are told from the priests, right, that like once we get this this demon out of the girl, the demon doesn't get to repossess her, right?
Right. Yeah.
She doesn't know that, and even if she does know that, like, would she believe that? Would you believe that?
Right. I mean, like if she's already kind of like iffy on the existence of God,
right?
Any like authorities, in that corner saying, well, like God has rules. It's like, well,
yeah, well, I had rules in my house too. No shoes in the living room, and only one cookie a day, and don't possess my teenage daughter.
Yeah.
Right. 8 simple rules for possessing my teenage daughter. I guess you don't know that show.
No.
John Ritter's last show with Katie Seagal was 8 simple rules for dating my teenage daughter.
Oh, okay.
And I don't remember what the rules were.
You know what? Let's make our own.
Right? No shoes in the living room. Only one cookie a day.
Yeah.
Don't possess my teenage daughter.
Right.
And what else you got?
Don't feed her after midnight. Don't get her wet with holy water.
He who has the gold makes the rules.
Yeah, that one. I remember that one. First rule of not possessing my teenage daughter. Don't talk about not possessing my teenage daughter. Second rule of not possessing my teenage daughter. Don't talk about not possessing my teenage daughter.
Right. And third rule, if it's your first night here, you fight.
Yeah. Better have been practicing that double axe handle. But yeah, we still got some goodbyes coming up, folks, and also the start of a beautiful friendship. So stick around for that. We're not done yet. But for now, that is all of my notes. Keenan, is there anything else?
No, I think we got it.
All right, folks, this has been another excellent Exorcist Minute. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can reach me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Keenan Diaz. You can find me on Letterboxd and Instagram at Howdy Keenan.
Yeah, we got our listener group, Compelling Conversations. Go check that out and request to join, and we'll let you in here with us. Thank you so much to everyone who shared the show by word of mouth or on social media, and a big thank you to everyone who has given us a 5-star ratings on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to our podcast. We really appreciate that. It's going to help our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. Okay, Keenan, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I think I am, Lester.
Folks, until next time,
the power of my humps compels you.
So I went on to LinkedIn the other day, because classes are winding down at the school, and us teachers, we got to find summer work. So I was looking, and there was this. I was looking up the CEO of this company that I'm thinking of applying to, right? Because that's how you do it. You gotta learn about them, right?
Right.
And it comes up in the interviews and everything, right? And it's like a summer job where they take stuff that's like washed up onto the shore, right?
Mhm.
And they recycle it and they use it. They repurpose it basically, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so I reached out to this guy, and he called me in for an interview. It was a
Mhm.
Zoom interview,
Yeah.
um, and he shared his screen, and we were looking at a video of just like all this garbage that was washing up onto the beach, and it just looked so sad, and it reminded me of um, our responsibility as human beings
Mhm.
and the damage we can do, even though we're just another species, like
Mhm.
walking around on this planet. I was getting kind of teared up, and over this picture of all these like plastic bottles and these um, these soda can plastic like thingies washing up with like seaweed and debris. I hear the CEO's voice,
Mhm.
and he's kind of like giving me a scenario, seeing if I'd be good for the job. And he says, "What you gonna do with all that junk?" Yeah.
So did you get the job?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
because my answer, I had it prepared because
Mhm.
I did extensive research. I said, "I'm gonna get you drunk," and apparently,
Mhm.
even though he had said at the beginning of the interview there are no wrong answers,
Oh yeah, they
that was
always say
a
that.
less correct answer than he had been hoping for. So I didn't get the job.
Well, there's plenty of junk in the trunks, Lester.
Yep. Hmm.
All right, I think step one, we gotta find some synonyms for butt.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So,
Give me
synonyms for butt.
10. Let's do 10 synonyms.
Well, I got tush.
Okay.
What you gonna do with all that tush? All that tush inside my
Kush.
kush. We smoke weed every day.
Yeah. Well, I was like kush as in like maybe she's sitting on a nice couch in his house, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
What do you got?
What you gonna do with all that rear inside
your
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 Sears and
Sears.
Roebuck's designer
Hmm.
outfit?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, last time I shopped at Sears for clothes, I was still a husky. I was a husky boy.
Oh,
Yeah. What you gonna do with all that posterior? All that
Ooh.
posterior inside your interior?
Yeah,
Outside
yeah.
your interior.
Outside your. Oh, that's a brain bender right there.
I'm gonna get you interior. Get you interior on my exterior.
Wow, this is like a show for designing houses, I think. What you gonna do with all that hiney? All that hiney inside those shiny patent leather uh, 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 pants. That's all I did.
Side them pants.
Yeah, yeah.
What you gonna do with all them buttocks? All them buttocks inside them cutoffs.
Oh, okay. All right, all
That's
right.
not too bad. That's at least as
Right,
close
yeah.
to humps and junk and
Trunk
trunks.
and
Yeah,
trunk.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right, all right, all right.
All right, take us out, Lester.
Uh,
One
uh,
more
um,
verse.
okay. What you gonna do with all that derriere? All that derriere over there.